So today we're going to be talking about the events that transpired in Boruto chapter 68, as well as covering what will probably happen in the future. But as per usual, if you guys like more videos like this, be sure to cure my backaches. No, like seriously, the doctor said I have like 1 day to live. The only thing that'll help is for you to subscribe. Also join the Discord and check out the merch that we got down below, and let's jump straight. Okay, so the chapter opens up with Boruto back in Konoha, and basically kind of explaining the events that kind of transpired, explaining what Momoshiki did, and they're all like, oh yeah, that's so cool, Momoshiki can't come back. Like, I don't know, it seems to me like they just took the easy way out to kind of get rid of Momoshiki as an antagonist, but I kind of liked that hidden agenda behind the scenes. I'm not talking about Amado, by the way, I'm talking about Momoshiki. You know, it kind of is very reminiscent of the idea of how Naruto had a hidden beast inside of him for the entire show, and then they finally befriended each other. Not saying that that was going to happen here, I just would have liked to see Momoshiki have more of a spotlight without just being thrown to the side to be a cheerleader now. But anyways, Boruto kind of talks about how he feels like he can channel his power better now, which is very interesting. Obviously, he's still gonna have access to the karma abilities, and so is Kawaki. I think this is kind of just their way to make sure that Boruto and Kawaki have the karma abilities without having any strings attached type situation. And then we jump over to Kawaki, and Sumire and everybody are just looking at him, kind of explaining that he's kind of like a Chad now, and they can't even stop him even if they tried, so they're just gonna kind of let him do whatever he wants once he gets up. And obviously, like everybody, like he should be, Naruto seems to be kind of down, a little bit upset because he just basically killed his son. So he said we're gonna have a little bit of a talk when he wakes up. I don't know, I feel like if that was me, I'm just saying that we would have had a little bit more than a talk, but it's whatever. Sasuke jumps in, he says he's got some intel. I was starting to wonder where he was, honestly. I mean, he's kind of missing his eye and like his arm, and like pretty sure the next thing that's gonna leave him is gonna be his leg. So I don't know, but he basically says that he has some intel on one of Code's facilities, or one of his whereabouts, as he puts it. He basically goes on to state that there's like a hidden structure on the edge of the land of snow. Apparently not a lot of people go there because it's very taboo even for the people that live there, and it's supposed to be a secret facility that was accessible to Boro and his cult, where they did like rituals and whatnot, human experimentation and scientific ninja tool stuff. So it seems like if Code was staying at a place, that would be a place that he would stay at. So they're not saying that he's there, it's just that that's one of his potential whereabouts. Then we see Code and Eida talking about the events that kind of just took place, and honestly at this point everybody's aware that Boruto's the full Otsutsuki now. They're literally slapping it all over our face. They want us to know that he's no Otsutsuki. Cool. I mean, yeah, he is no Otsutsuki now. That is what he is. So you don't have to keep saying it. But anyways, Eida and Code now know. And something that we see that's very interesting that hasn't really happened too much before, I mean, it's kind of been slowly building up, is that it's kind of become pretty clear that Eida and Code are not on the same side here. They have completely different motives. They're just temporarily kind of teaming up in order to achieve a common goal, right? They want to get Kawaki. Once they get Kawaki, their goals completely change. But Eida makes it very clear that that's Code's job, is to bring Kawaki to her. And she makes it very clear that they're not comrades, and her and her brother will do what's necessary if he kind of steps out of line, which is very interesting. I would kind of like to see how that goes, because as of now, I don't think Code really stands a chance against Daemon. I mean, he kind of used him as like a tool to save himself, so I don't think he would, at least not without his limiters, be able to do anything against Code. And obviously Ida's, you know, seductive charm seems to have Code head over heels about her, so looks like he's not really going to be doing anything to them anytime soon. And it is kind of eerie seeing that like Eida is saying this to him as like Daemon's just chilling on his back, you know what I mean? It's like all kind of like a facade in some sort of a way, like they got their little puppet strings all over him. And then we jump to Shikamaru. Man, I was a little bit disappointed when I saw this. He has a mark on his neck that Code implanted. I mean, it makes sense, he kind of had him hostage, and it's a mark where he can jump through, but the part that like annoys me is that Shikamaru is supposed to be like a super genius. Why don't you have the mark on like someone else, you know? I mean, actually, I take that back. I mean, Shikamaru was probably the best person. He's like the weakest out of the bunch that were over there. But all I'm saying is that like, come on, Shikamaru. Like, you didn't hear his ears twitch or something in like the back of your neck, but that's just me. Anyways, Shikamaru talks to Amado, where once again they all confirm that Momoshiki is not coming back, and then he kind of lifts him up out of his chair and gets a little pissed at him because Amado actually put the mark on Kawaki, the karma, on him without his actual consent, which is interesting because it kind of happened like off screen. We didn't really see this happen. We just kind of assumed that Kawaki was like, okay, but it looks like whether he said okay or not, Amado was going to give him the karma, which kind of leads us to believe that he's got a hidden agenda, which I'm pretty sure everybody's been believing this whole time. I'll be more surprised if he's not up to something at this point. Like, just look at his face. We do get to see a little bit of a Team 7 talking to each other, which I feel like was much needed because we haven't really seen them actually do anything as a team or even talk to each other for a while now. I mean, they haven't really been a focus of the story, but I mean, they're still there, and Team 7 was a very big focus of the story in the early Naruto, and I know that Boruto's trying to parallel that, but it seems like they're kind of jumping to the story a little bit quick, obviously because people expect there to be more action this time around. But Boruto's very, very careful not to say that Kawaki kind of killed him, but he does show them his new karma mark that kind of spread over his chest, so that's something to note. And Sasuke jumps in and basically says that Code's next target is most likely going to be Amado, and literally as he's saying that, Code just jumps out of Shikamaru's and just takes over the room, right? Like, talk about timing. And here's kind of where we figure out that in order to get Code's limiters removed, all that needs to happen is for Amado to say something, and then like a switch is going to be flipped in his brain, which is also kind of interesting to know, because I mean, he doesn't need nothing physically needs to be done to Code to get his limiters removed. It's more like a little mental switch, you know what I mean? You know, Shikamaru does try the shadow possession, but at this point, Code's very close to Amado and could just still slash his neck even if he wanted to. And this is where we get to see what's in Amado's little mystery box here. And honestly, I've got mixed feelings. I mean, it's a very interesting idea. They kind of brought back Delta, and essentially she's a new model. She's reprogrammed to fight with Konoha. She's supposed to be much more powerful now, which is kind of scary if you think about it, because I mean, if Naruto had to go KCM and use a pretty good portion of his power to stop her, to overload her, and she's now stronger, and Naruto now lost KCM, I mean, like, what's to say that she's just blatantly more powerful now, you know what I mean? And also with the reprogramming, she also has a little bit of a different design. She's got her little forehead triangle thing, a little triangle thing in her back, so I don't know, just some things to note here and there. She does look a little bit different. And if you guys thought this wasn't chaotic enough, Eida also walks in on them. So just to get this straight, we have Shikamaru walking in on Amado, then we have Code walking in on them, and then we have Delta walking in on those guys, and then Eida just thinks that it's a great idea to just waltz on inside, even though she can't even fight. But then we see Amado's face, which is probably like the one thing that I wasn't expecting to see. He's so calm and calculated. When he sees her face, he immediately knows who she is, so it's definitely very possible that, you know, he was behind designing her, or like she's his daughter or something like that. So yeah, it does seem like Amado is very surprised. But what did we learn from this chapter? We learned that Eida doesn't see Code as an ally. We learned that Shikamaru and the others are trying to keep Kawaki killing Boruto from the rest of the village to prevent, you know, him being seen as an outcast, kind of like preventing another Itachi type situation where the leaf turns on someone for having good motives deep down inside. We learned that Amado implanted the karma on Kawaki without his consent. We learned that Code's limiters are not something that can be physically removed. We also learned that Code wants to kill Amado, so at this point I'm just rooting for Code. And we learned that Delta has been brought back to the village, and that's what was inside Amado's mystery box, right? So yeah, just a lot of stuff, a lot of content in this chapter. I'm pretty satisfied with what happened in this chapter. I was not expecting this. I was expecting it to be more of like a down chapter. I wasn't expecting any insane revelations, but as with every chapter, they always got to add a little cliffhanger at the end. But what should we be expecting for the next chapter, right? Again, Amado clearly knows who Eida is, so he's going to reveal who she is literally in the first sentence of the next chapter. I'm calling it right now. There's a theory going around that Eida is Amado's daughter, and like, I mean, maybe. I mean, he never really mentioned having a son either, so he's either a really bad father for not remembering he had a son, or this theory doesn't really hold water. I mean, I don't know. We should also expect that Delta is gonna absolutely eat Code, and maybe this time he won't get away, which would be, I mean, it would be fun to see him just not be able to anything, but that's gonna kind of ruin the point of the story. But anyways, I do expect the next chapter to open up with a lot of dialogue, because I'm assuming that, you know, Amado's got a lot to say. Maybe Ida's got some words to exchange before she just skedaddles out of there. But anyways, if you guys like more videos like this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our Discord server. I'm gonna leave it right down below. We leave a bunch of scans, we do a bunch of debates, we have some event nights and whatnot, so definitely be sure to join that. Also be sure to check out our Anime World hoodie. They're gonna be down in the description as well, and I'll catch you in the next one.